Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. So, today we're looking at new starting goaltenders. I did this last year, I believe. Either it was on TikTok or it was on here, but I know I did it at some point last year, and we're going to do it again this year. Just some disclaimers to know about. Obviously, I don't have a lot more goalies here than I did last year. In fact, I have four. So I think last year we had like six or seven. But this year, there isn't a lot of new starting goalies as far as we know. But that could change as we get midway through the season. Maybe a goalie performs terribly, and that's what happens. But regardless, these are the forward rolling with. Starting with Devin Levi. He's being the arguable starting goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. Levi, a 6', 185-pound goalie, did play games last year with the Buffalo Sabres. He played 7 games, had a 5-2-0 record, a 2.94 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage with Northeastern University, which was his junior affiliate college team. He played 34 games, had a 17-12-5 record with a 2.24 goals against average and a .933 save percentage. So good numbers there out of Levi. I like him a lot, and I think he's going to be a great goalie. But I think, I'm going to be honest, Sabres fans may come at me for this, but I really do think that they may be really overrating him here. Or not overrating necessarily, overhyping him here, saying he's going to be the starter that leads them to the playoffs for the first time in 11 years. I personally just cannot see it. From right now at least. I think it's very possible that in maybe 1 to 2 more years, they'll be at a playoff spot, but just right now, I can't imagine them being a playoff team. It stinks to say, but it is the reality. Like I can't see Levi, a young rookie, leading this team to the playoffs. I can't see it. And I think honestly, if they rush him into that starting role, it will affect his development 100%. Like a good example is Dustin Wolf. And Wolf is not going to be listed here because he got sent down to the AHL with the Wranglers. He played 1 game up with Calgary last year, but Calgary doesn't want to stall his development. So they're going to have him play at least a little bit more in the American Hockey League. And maybe that's the path they want to take with Levi, although I doubt it. What I think would be smart is that they're going to run a tandem with either Levi, Comrie, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, whatever they want to decide to be that secondary goalie. But I think it's the smartest thing for them to run a tandem of Levi and whoever else. But regardless, he'll be a great goalie. I just don't know if rushing him into the starting role is the smartest thing in the world for Buffalo. Moving on now to the LA Kings. We got Phoenix Copley. Copley is a 6'4", 201-pound goalie. He played a little bit this past year with the Kings and the Reign. With the Kings, he had a 24-6-3 record, a 2.64 goals against average, and a .903 save percentage on the NHL level. In the AHL level with the Ontario Reign, he had 11 games played, a 6-4-1, a 2.48 goals against average, and a .913 save percentage. So, obviously, with Copley, he's looked at as a starting goalie, I would say. Because besides him, you got Cam Talbot and David Rittich. And honestly, Cam Talbot and David Rittich is probably the 2 worst options to be a starting goalie. So I am looking at Copley right now to be that guy. And do I think he's going to be that guy? Yes and no. I think he's going to be good enough, but he's not going to be a stellar starter. He's not going to be an amazing starter. Maybe this first year, maybe in future seasons, he will be. But just in this first year, I don't know if I could see Phoenix Copley being a really solid starting goalie right off the bat. Because apart from this past year, he's had kind of minimal NHL experience. So he hasn't really had a whole lot of time up in the NHL, even though he is a little bit older than some goalies. He has not had as much experience as other goaltenders on this list, in fact, besides Levi. He is very interesting with me. But regardless, I think Copley will do well in LA. Just I'm not sure if he'll be a stellar goalie right out of the gate. And that's why I have LA falling down to a wild card spot. Moving on to Ottawa. And Ottawa is obviously a very interesting team. They're in a spot where it's playoffs or bust, basically, for this coming season. You got Younes Korpisalo as your brand new starting goalie. They signed him to a contract this past year. He's a 6'3", 192-pound goalie. He played a lot this past year. In 22-23 with Columbus, in the regular season. He had 28 games, had 11-11-3 record for a 3.17 goals against average and a .913 save percentage. That's good for Columbus, a team that was so bad last year. That is decent numbers for a guy there for sure. Then he got dealt to LA at the trade deadline. And in 11 games played, he had a 7-3-1 record with a 2.13 goals against average and a .921 save percentage. I liked him. I liked him with LA during the regular season. He showed very positive numbers. And then in the playoffs, it wasn't all that. He just didn't look like himself in the playoffs. He played 6 games at a 2-4-0 record, a 3.77 goals against average, and a .892 save percentage. Obviously, with Edmonton, you're playing one of the best offensive teams in the NHL. So obviously, that's going to have an effect on your game. But Korpisalo, obviously there is room to improve there with him, but I think overall he's shown in the regular season that he can be a really good goalie for Ottawa, and I think he definitely will be in this coming season. And then last but not least is Mackenzie Blackwood. Blackwood is a 6'4", 225-pound goalie, and he's not 100% going to be the starter. It's very possible that he shares a tandem with Kaapo Kähkönen, so maybe this is just a waste of a segment here, but we're still going to talk about him nonetheless. In 22 games played this past year with the New Jersey Devils, he had a 10-6-2 record, a 3.20 goals against average, and a .893 save percentage. Obviously, the past couple of years have been a little bit of just not that good for Blackwood, and hopefully with San Jose, even though they're going to be awful, hopefully this coming year he should be able to pretty much find his game again and at least start playing a little bit better with a brand new change of scenery. So yeah, that is your 4 starting goalies that are brand new this coming season. Maybe I'm missing one. I don't believe I am. And in fact, maybe even Blackwood won't be the starting goalie for San Jose. But obviously, I'm putting it in a scenario where he is. But regardless, let me know your thoughts on these 4 guys in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I got a Flyers game to go to, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.